Well, it is a nice rainy morning today. I didn't think we were supposed to be getting the rain till later on, so unfortunately I left all of the 2x4s and strapping in the bed. Most of it's on the cover, but they did get a little wet, so we gotta get these inside drying out, and we'll use the wettest ones. We'll use the driest ones first. So Gina still is not here with us today, but we need to get inside and start working on that bathroom and see how much we can get done while she's not able to work with us. Luckily the wood's not too wet. It won't take long for it to dry. Alright, I got more than enough strapping to do the bathroom. I got enough to do the bathroom, the powerhouse. We might have some left over to the greenhouse side. But I wanted to make sure we had enough so we'll be able to go through and we'll be able to use all the dry pieces today. And then when we need everything else, everything should be dry at that point. I also got us bathroom fan. I'm gonna get that installed. It's kind of crazy all little parts and pieces you need for a bathroom, especially when you're having your washer and dryer in your bathroom. There's that much more mechanical stuff you need to do. Every time I see this, it makes me think of like a drive-up window. We got bracket for our shut off for the toilet water supply, so that way when we go to put it on, it's not bouncing around. We want to be able to secure that. And then I'm thinking we're going to want a switch, or I know we're going to want a switch here for our vanity light. So we'll have to figure out the height for that. And we're going to want a plug. And then I was also thinking over here, we'll do another plug, and this makes a nice little cubby for that. We'll have a plug, and that way if you want to have something to plug in, like your toothbrush to charge it or to blow dry your hair, you'll have another plug over here out of the way. So before we forget, let's get the water line hooked up for the toilet. I need a little extra coffee today. Still haven't caught up on our sleep yet. Up. Alright, that's better. Boom. So that'll line up with another outlet and the switch for our vanity light. Now we gotta get that centered. All right, so I'm going to center the vanity light, center with the mirror, and not with the vanity. That might be odd, but I think it'll look even more strange if we have the light centered over the vanity. Yeah, so if we ever go to change out this vanity, it's going to be kind of a pain because it's a 36-inch long vanity, but the sink is over to the left and not in the center. So, I don't know, this is what I'm going with. So I need to come up with 2 1/4 spacer. Alright, this is why you always want to save a bunch of little scraps for this stage of the project. So it seems like you always need little spacers when you're doing stuff like this. And I'd hate to have to cut those out of full boards. Luckily we had a piece of pine. This was from trimming out the outside, like the soffits and stuff. And just a little 2x6. So we want to be 75 to 80 inches off the ground. So 75 would be too low. So let's go 80. We put that at 80. I just hope Gina approves. That's the worst part about doing some of the stuff without her here. We don't get her input, and this is gonna be like her domain. So we don't want to mess it up. Alright, for a bathroom fan, I ended up going with the Panasonic Whisper choice. The biggest reason I chose the Panasonic is because the EVR that we have in our house that I installed was the Panasonic brand, so I figured I might as well try sticking with the same brands for ventilation. Got the layout figured out for our fan and how we want everything to work. Now we have a place for our strapping to nail to on the edges. Let me get a few measurements. Or at, so 61. Alright, so this thing has little metal tabs to bend out so it sits flush where you need it to. And then lines over so they're not touching the fan. Once we're upstairs working, doing the duct work and stuff, then I'll move these over. I just gotta take the clamps up and push them over that way. We have plenty of room to do that. I just gotta get undone there and there. We just whoosh. Alright, now that we have the ceiling and the shower done, we can work on the bathroom ceiling. What do we need? We can figure that out. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hello? Alright, so I just got off the phone with Gina and a couple of doctors. We're going to be ending this part of the video here. We got to take Gina back to the hospital to try to get another procedure done. We're hoping that this one works, and then that'll be the last of the surgeries she needs to go through. If not, we have one more, and hopefully we'll know that by the end of today.
So we thought we'd give you a little update on what's going on now that we kind of know more information, I guess. First off, just want to say thank you to everyone for all their thoughts and prayers. So I'm good. I'm on the road to recovery healing. I originally had gone in for a simple 1-hour laparoscopic surgery. I had a large cyst that needed to be removed. It was causing me a lot of discomfort and pain, as the reason why there's a couple of times that I've not felt good and not in bed in videos. During the surgery, my uterus was damaged, so they had to go ahead and figure out what was next because they didn't want to damage my kidney or want to lose my kidney.
Right. So they, at first they weren't sure what actually had happened. They didn't know if her ureter was damaged, if it just wasn't working. So they're trying to figure that out at first to see what was going on.
Right. So that ended up being an overnight stay, and then I had to go to another hospital where then I had another procedure to put in a nephrostomy tube so that they were able to drain the fluid off of my kidney so that there wouldn't be any damage. So at that time I had to stay there, and then I had the choice to stay longer, and I decided to come home.
Right, so you got the nephrostomy tube She had to stay overnight. We had to make sure everything was draining. It was draining into a bag. They wanted to make sure she didn't have infections and her kidney was working good still. And they still at that point didn't know, or we didn't know, or they didn't know what was going on and why the kidney wasn't draining. What was going on with the ureter. We still didn't have any answers for that part
Like,
yet.
was it not working? Was there obstruction? Was it
Right.
cut? We don't know. And so then I had gone back for another procedure that ended up to put a stent in, and that did not work.
Right.
So that was that was very overwhelming and hard, because they said that procedure, which is not, you're not all the way out, so you can feel it. So they said they would try that a couple more times, and so I was like, ugh. So then the next day, not expecting anything, I was home but not expecting anything. I had gotten a phone call from another doctor, and I didn't recognize the name, and they wanted me to come in and get an operation to get a stent in, and I'm like, well, it didn't work, and like, what is this about? Anyway, I'm telling way too much information probably, but they said if you can get in here now, you have 7 days. He said you have 7 days after you get major surgery, that before you start healing, the healing starts, and the inflammation and all that is caused during everything starts to happen. So if you can come in now, we can try this procedure, and if it doesn't work, then you would go in a couple of days and get a, what was that?
They were going to use a robot to repair the ureter. So the doctor called and said, because we were totally surprised, you were supposed to be going back to IR for 2 more procedures that they had attempted that didn't work. So Gina got the phone call saying, hey, come on in today, and this hospital's 2 hours away, and get this surgery. We're like, well, it just didn't work. And he was like, no, we want to try something different. And we had him explain a little bit more, but he was saying that once you have a surgery done, you have to go in within the first 7 days, because if it doesn't work within the first 7 days, your whole body's got to heal for, was it 30 days?
I don't even know.
I think it was like 30 days. No, it was 3 to 5 months her body was going to have to heal, and she would have had to have the nephrostomy tube with the bag for 3 to 5 months before they could have went into surgery. So the part of the video with the phone call and everything, that was that. We decided we better get in the truck, drive back to the hospital, attempt to see if they could do the stent, which they were able to do. And if they couldn't do the stent, they had a surgery scheduled 2 days later they were going to use like the Da Vinci robot, I guess. It's a robotic, they call it a robot, but I guess it's like another
Laparoscopic
surgery, but with not like a more specific robotic thing that they do the surgery when. They would have repaired the ureter if they couldn't get the stent in.
Which that is also a blessing in itself, because it's really hard to get into those procedures, that operating room with that
that robot.
With that robot, because it takes months. So
Yep.
the fact that this doctor was going to be able to do it the fact that he was going to be able to do whatever he could to get me in and get it done, and I could get something was going to be resolved soon, which we really felt like a big whirlwind, because all this stuff kept happening and felt like it was confusion and why this and not that, and we don't really even know what's going on.
Right, it was 5 days into it, I think. The days have gone by and they kind of all jumbled together. I think it was 5 days into it when you went and got the surgery that she was able to put the stent in. But it wasn't until that day that we actually knew more of what was going on. Before that, there was a lot of, hey, this might be going on, and we're going to try this, we're going to try to do that. But when you get the phone call that we weren't expecting, it was by the urologist team that just deals with ureters. That's their main goal, is they just repair ureters, put stents in, and rebuild them if they need to. Once we got the phone call from them, they were the ones that kind of like, this is our plan. We're going to put a stent in. If we can't do that, then we're going to see if we can get you in for surgery with the Da Vinci robot or whatever it's called, to rebuild your ureter.
So I felt like I have to do this, because at that point I was very overwhelmed and said, no, I can't do anything else for a couple days. But when we heard this, we decided, yes, we need to do this. Either way, whether the procedure I had that day or a couple days later, something was going to be resolved, we felt. And I just have so much empathy, and I don't know how people that have to have the bags or anything like that do it. You're awesome. I feel for you. I do feel like this doctor, seeing my name come across and reaching out, was a complete God blessing. Anyway, I felt like during all this, I stayed really strong, really positive. But I did have some tough days and some sad days, and I just want people to know that you do have those days, and they do get better. And this is really nothing in the grand scheme of things. I did find out, which I didn't think it was, that it's not cancerous. The cyst was not cancerous at all, which I honestly didn't think that it was. But it's a blessing that is not. I do have a couple more procedures to do. I have to go and get my nephrostomy tube removed, which I'm very excited about, because that is very uncomfortable. But like, I was so happy just to have that and not everything else. So they just keep that in just in case, but that's going to get removed. And then in a couple of months, I'll go in for another procedure to hopefully get my stent removed or see what needs to go further. So we'll do our best to keep you posted. And I'm sorry that maybe we should have documented this stuff better, but we really didn't know what was going on, and it was a lot, and a lot on me, on Al, Olivia, my family, just it was just very overwhelming. It was very much a experience that I think that I am supposed to have for some reason. And I'm not sad, I'm a very emotional person. So anyway, I did stay strong, but I did have some weak moments, and it's okay. One of the hardest things for me during all of this is, and still, and I'm working on it, is to give myself grace, because it's so hard. I was expecting to have this 1 hour surgery, and then I was going to go back to work and like build our house, and because that's what I like to do. I just love to do that with you. And that didn't happen, and I had to give myself time to rest and be okay with that. And I just really, truly, there is some really great doctors and nurses out there, and they have a gift, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, if you're a nurse and a good nurse, that makes a big difference.
So it makes a big difference.
Same with the doctor. So if you are a nurse or a doctor and you have a great personality, attitude, thank you. Yes. Whether we know you or not, but it makes the world a difference for patient care.
Just a little extra step for like one of the nurses. One of the last things. She pulled in a chair for Al, like a recliner, and gave him a pillow, and like gave us warm blanket. Like just that little extra like love that you feel. It makes all the difference.
So we ended up going in that day for the surgery. We got to the hospital around 2 o'clock, and we knew when we got there, it was kind of like, hurry up, get there, and wait. They told us that. They're like, you are an add-on. So we don't know how long you're going to be waiting for. We came in. The main doctor that we talked to on the phone came in and said, hey, I'm the doctor. This is what I'm going to do. But whenever his shift ended, when my shift ends, there's another doctor coming on. So his shift ended while we were waiting. The other doctor came on. She came in, introduced herself to us, and told us her game plan. And then I think you went in for surgery around 8 o'clock at night. They did the surgery. When they got her out, the doctor came back and talked to us and said that the ureter had been damaged, and they put dye in it to see what was going on, and then when they put dye in it, squirted out the side. So she said she talked to the anesthesiologist, and she was like, you know what, I probably shouldn't even try to put the stent in because I can see the ureter has a hole in it. She said, well, I'll give it a try. She said she gave it a try, and she was totally amazed and surprised that the stent went right in. So Gina was able to get the stent in, so it's, your ureter goes from your kidney to your bladder. So she was able to get the stent in, which I believe is a God thing, because that happened.
And then she even said, I'm going to try this. Yeah.
She said she tried it, and it was just like, boom, it went in, and it was done. So the nephropathy tube is a tube that comes from your kidney to drain your kidney, then you have a bag on it. So they left the tube in, but they removed the bag, so Gina doesn't have the bag. But they said we want to leave the tube in just in case for some reason this gets plugged up again or something's not working. If you start getting a fever or any pain in your kidney, you can hook a bag up to it because you have an infection. Mm-hmm. So the tube is left in for now, just for like a fail-safe. If anything happens, we can take care of it. So that surgery that we went in for, kind of like in limbo, waiting, didn't know if it was going to work, it wasn't going to work, or how long it's going to take. It did work. We got out of the hospital that night at like 11 o'clock. Went and had some milkshakes. And then
that's all I could talk about. I want a milkshake.
We got a hotel room and we spent the night up there, and then we came home.
And that was like one of the first nights that I had gotten some sleep.
Yeah.
Not like a complete night of sleep, but I did, which is totally like so good, like to get a good night's sleep. But even like knowing, like, because the other procedures didn't work like that, every time like I felt like my heart broke. But this time this last one I had, if it didn't work, I knew that there was something else right there, and I felt like I felt like that at the time when they said it didn't work, I don't know, but I do feel like I knew that a couple days later there was going to be something that was most likely going to fix this.
Right. They already had they had the next surgery scheduled. They were able to get people to come in and work late. 2 nights later, they had it scheduled that it was going to be a late night surgery because that OR was already booked up, but they were able to get people to work overtime. Mm-hmm. But luckily, we didn't have to go for that.
And we just had so much outpouring of love and friends and family and just thoughts and prayers from all of you, and we just really appreciate that. I'd also like to share a couple other things. So shortly before, I think it was a couple days actually, before I had gone into surgery, I've been on getting a milk cow kick. And I want an A2 milk cow, and I was on this kick, and we're not ready for it. In the meantime, I kept searching. I did find this farm that's close by, relatively close by, that has raw A2 milk. That I found them. I found their story. I fell in love with their story. We had actually gone there on a whim. I think it was 2 days before, and he said, "Let's go check it out. Let's go get some A2." We actually wanted to make sure that cows A2 milk was something that we could, before I actually do someday get an A2 cow, it would work for us. So we did go to this farm and find this A2 milk, and the people seem really great, and their values are great, and they're doing this from their heart, I believe, something that's on their heart. Hopefully God's put it on their heart. So I feel that felt really cool to me, and that something that was close by that we didn't even know about, and somehow I stumbled across because I believe God put it in my path. Because when this all did happen, it's a lot. So we're milking hope. And during all this, we decided to dry her off. So we are no longer milking hope, which actually took a lot of stress off us. But also still have a milk source, and we also can help support this small farm. I think you take them on a trip at some point.
Yep, the next video. So we're recording this part of the video after a little bit because now we kind of have more of what's been going on. We're going to sit down and fill you guys in sooner rather than later to let you know what's going on, because it took us quite a while before we had all the answers and everything that we knew what was going on, just because everything didn't happen the way it was supposed to, and a lot of the stuff that was going on to diagnose Gina took a lot of time. There was a lot of different people involved, so it just seemed like there was a lot of different things going on. But now,
and we're exhausted, and
we're running back and forth to different hospitals and all that stuff, and so
trying to figure out what's even going on. So I was in the hospital 4 different times.
Yeah, 4 different times you were in the hospital.
4 different times. I'm gonna go back for a procedure. It's supposed to be just in the office. Please pray that it doesn't hurt, because I have this fear of a couple of my procedures were it was just local anesthesia, so you can still feel stuff. And I do not like that at all. It probably better for you, but I do not like to feel any of that. And then possibly go back for surgery.
Right, I think
a couple months.
I think the next, when we go back for this removing of the nephrostomy tube, we'll find out more.
Yes, we'll find out more. But I truly feel like God has been with us through it. I truly feel like God has been with us through this, that this has happened for a reason that I don't know. I am very happy and grateful for everybody's help, and that I'm feeling good. I'm sleeping. That's huge. And now I'm up and getting around. Like, I didn't know that. Like, there's sometimes you're like, oh, let's just sit, and you get sick of sitting around and your body hurts. Of course, I guess we don't really do that.
Right.
So I'm just really grateful for you guys, and maybe this is too much information or maybe not enough. This is really something that's hard for me to share because I am very emotional, and I don't know. I'm not telling any of this, we're not telling any of this for you to feel bad or anything. We just want to let you know what's going on, to update you, because we do know that you care.
Yeah, we want to keep everybody up to date so you know what's going on. And I know the videos have been off a little bit, just a little bit different feel, a little bit shorter, just because we've had so much other stuff going on. But in the meantime, we're trying to get stuff done because it's what we know to do. So just to sit around and do nothing would drive us crazier too. So we're trying to still, do what makes us feel good, or what makes us thrive, but take care of everything at the same time.
Right, but also learn to give ourselves grace and to rest when we need to. So you guys don't see every part of our lives, but we have been trying to rest, trying to get to bed early, just try to get back into whatever you call a normal schedule. And we are very scheduled, so this was really out of our comfort zone. So anyway,
we'll have another video coming up with a big surprise for Gina. She hasn't seen it yet. We got home from surgery or the next morning, and we got a surprise coming in the next video for that. So this is being recorded after that, just so we could fill you in, since we had all more details now. So this is where we're going to end it. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for all your prayers, all your well wishes. We appreciate everything that you guys do from the bottom of our heart. You guys mean the world to us. So see you in the next video.
bye.
Bye.